Poliwhirl firing the Scald, and that does big damage to Hypno. Opponent now brings in Surfetched. Trixxy not baiting, going straight for Scald. Number 2, does the opponent respect the damage? They do not, and it's going to be high Surfetched by Surfetched. So, welcome back to the home of Shadow Pokemon. On this channel, there's 2 things we like, and that would be Shadow Pokemon and Spice. Huge shout out to one of our members, Ben, aka Trixxy, who is bringing one of the most incredibly spicy teams I've ever seen in the Open Great League. Who uses Muck? Absolutely nobody, but it complements this double Poly Evolution backline perfectly. As we are double weak to grass in the backs, this is going to be an ABB feature team, but we are obviously taking a look at Leagcy Poliwhirl. I cannot wait, as I've never seen this Pokemon. It is excelled as well, so it's been a huge investment, but without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game 1, we caught the grass type in the lead. The opponent pivots into Skarmory. Skarmory eats a super effective Thunder Punch to the face, and now here comes our first look at this Leagcy Poliwhirl. The opponent is going to fire off a Sky Attack. Poliwhirl actually tanks it pretty well, that is the joy of XL Pokemon. I believe this Pokemon is almost level 50. Trixxy baits with a Mud Bomb. Opponent probably confused to the moveset, and now here comes the Leagcy Scald. The opponent's already down 1 shield. They don't want to commit shield. Number 2, back out comes a Abomasnow not wanting to get hit with a charge move, dumps some energy. Resisted Weather Ball takes out Poliwhirl. The switch timers are misaligned, so Trixxy is waiting out his full timer. He brings in Muck, and the opponent's final Pokemon is Lantern. It's on Water Gun. We bank a boatload of energy, switch out into Poliwrath. Tough decision to make. Trixxy commits the last minute shield, and it is a really nice one. We commit the shield on the Thunderbolt. And now Trixxy playing the mind games, going for the Ice Punch bait. Lantern commits its final shield. Poliwrath is going to outpace to the Dynamic Punch. Lantern super thick, but Poliwrath near one-shots. We commit to the Mudshot, farm down, back out comes a Abomasnow, and we make the Ice Punch. Ice Punch is neutral due to the grass ice typing, and that is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. Moving on to the next battle, we see Hypno in the lead with ABA weak to Confusion. Trixxy safe switches into Poliwhirl, and we go straight for the Scald, and Scald does big damage to the Hypno. The opponent doesn't throw. They now switch out into Surfetched. They've already seen 1 Scald. Does the opponent respect the damage? They do not. Scald near one-shot Surfetched. We Mudshot down. Surfetched was straight in and straight out. Trixxy did manage to win switch. However, we've got no real answer for this Hypno. In comes Muck. We are taking super effective from the confusions, but the poison jabs are going to add up. We shield the Ice Punch. Hypno already at charge move. Number 2, Trixxy is not willing to double shield. We tank the move. Look to commit to the farm down, and in the back, it is the Kentucky Fried Chicken. Bird of Death. We're almost at the back-to-back Thunder Punches. First one draws the shield. Muck dies with the move. We now bring in Poliwrath, and this is somewhat of a problematic situation. We do not have Scald on this. We're running Ice Punch. The opponent baits us with a Flame Charge. The opponent is at another charge move, and we're about to get Brave Birded to the face, and that is going to be all she wrote. Moving on to the next one. We see Trevenant in the lead. Poison jabs are neutral due to the grass ghost typing. The opponent needs to go for a Shadow Ball, and Trixxy correctly shields up the Shadow Ball. We've over-farmed heavily, and we are now baiting with a Thunder Punch. The opponent takes the bait. Can we outpace to the Dark Pulse? It looks like Trixxy is just going to spam out Thunder Punch. Number 2, and the opponent has double shielded. Holy smokes. Trixxy now switches out, looking to catch the Shadow Ball on his Poliwhirl, and the opponent actually goes for the Seed Bomb. We're unable to Mudshot down, so it looks like Leagcy Poliwhirl, after the huge investment, is used as shield number 3 and shield number 4. Trixxy is still going to be switch locked, so he waits out his full timer, does commit to the poison jab, farm down, and the opponent brings in Metachan. We are going for the hard hitting Dark Pulse, we are only going to make 1 move. The opponent didn't shield, and holy smokes, Muck hits hard in the Great League. That did big damage to the Metachan. Trixxy comes in with Poliwrath, as is his last Pokemon remaining. We go for the neutral Ice Punch, and down goes Metachan. The opponent's final Pokemon is Lantern. We have somewhat of a chance here. We are going straight for the Dynamic Punch, and Lantern is now down into the yellow. Can we outpace to the back-to-back charge moves? We sneak the Mudshot. Trixxy shields up a Surf. We're at the Dynamic Punch, and that is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. Incredible win there. It's Spice 1, Basic Bitch Meta 0. Moving on into the next battle, we see Scrafty in the lead. A pretty good matchup For mockers, we would be resisting the counters. However, as we're running an ABB team, we do pivot into Poliwhirl, hoping to draw out a grass type, but instead we draw out a absolute piss-taking charmer. We land the Scald. We now fire off the Mud Bomb. We've got shield advantage. From this Wiggly, we look to poison jab farm down. Before they make a charge move, we're unable to, so Trixxy does commit a shield. We're sat in the 1-to-1 shield, and it is everyone's favourite basic bitch in the back, Mr. Warface. But guess what, Mr. Opponent, you sir might be thinking you're in a good spot. We land the Dark Pulse. The opponent dumps their energy, and it is time for the big muscular Poliwrath to absolutely go off. We bring in Poliwrath. The opponent is staying in, obviously Scrafty doesn't want to eat a dynamic punch to the face. We are baiting the brick wall with an ice punch. The opponent shits their pants, shielding up Poliwrath, already at the dynamic punch. High wall face, by wall face, back out comes the Scrafty. They can only throw power up punches, as foul play would be resisted. We tank the power up punch. We're already at the dynamic punch, and it's going to be night night. Sleep tight, Scrafty. GG's, and thanks for playing. Moving on to the next battle, we see Purified Dragonair in the lead, a pretty neutral matchup. Poison jabs are chunking, stay in school kids, learn to count. Trixxy once again switches into Poliwhirl, and he actually catches the resisted Aquatail, so perhaps this Dragonair is actually on return. Trixxy now fires off the Mud Bomb. Mud Bomb draws a shield from the opponent, and they dump their energy. Trixxy is willing to match shields. He's almost at Mud Bomb number 2. We fire off the second Mud Bomb. Does the opponent want to double shield the Dragonair? They do not. So Poliwhirl has managed to maintain the alignment, or at least win switch, as the opponent didn't actually switch out. They now come in to Azumarill. Azumarill shields the Mud Bomb, a very questionable shield from the opponent, but even more questionably, they dump their energy. Ice Beam takes us out. Trixxy is going to be switch locked, whereas the opponent is not, so we wait out our full timer. We bring in Muck. The opponent now makes a great catch, catching the Thunder Punch onto Toxicroak. Toxicroak didn't actually appreciate that whatsoever. We bank the Thunder Punch, switch out into Poliwrath. Poliwrath is hitting for super effective with the mud shots. The opponent goes for the Mud Bomb. Poliwrath returns fire with the Ice Punch. Ice Punch does take care of Toxicroak. Back out comes Azumarill. We just need to get this thing into Thunder Punch range. We go for the harder hitting Dynamic Punch. Azumarill does resist everything there now down below. 50% HP, the opponent is over farming, and that is going to cost them. We make Dynamic Punch number 2, and this definitely puts Azumarill into Thunder Punch range, and the opponent throws on a CMP tie. The opponent is in a real mess. We've got the Thunder Punch locked and loaded, and that is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. Moving on to the next battle, we see A9 in the lead. You couldn't ask for a better lead. The opponent switches out into Swampert, and we answer with Poliwrath. The opponent fires off the Sludge Wave. That near one-shots. We're now over farm heavily. Trixxy gets too greedy. The opponent makes the Hydro Cannon. We are forced to commit a shield, and we are going to return fire with an Ice Punch bait. Does the opponent want to win switch? They actually call the bait. Holy smokes, Poliwrath is loaded though. We fire off Ice Punch number 2, and the opponent does commit a shield. Poliwrath generating energy ridiculously quickly, makes Ice Punch number 3, and the opponent does double shield. They mud shot down, and we are now sitting in a bit of a tricky spot. Trixxy sends in Legacy Poliwhirl. We've already seen that Sludge Wave hits for huge damage. The opponent baits us with a Hydro Cannon. They're already at another Hydro Cannon. Poliwhirl tanks it surprisingly well. I must say, I'm really impressed with Legacy Poliwhirl's bulk. Not because it's Legacy, even if you wasn't running it, his bulk would still be the same. They now come out with the Charmer. We fire off the Scald, and that does hit really hard. We get the attack drop, and it is the Bear Trap in the back. This is going to be a tricky spot to play out of. We land the Dark Pulse, and it does pretty big damage. The opponent is going to have to Earthquake to take us out. The opponent fires the Earthquake as soon as they get it. Can Trixxy manage his energy well enough to clean up this battle? We fire off the super effective Scald. Down goes the Bear Trap. We're a couple of mud shots away from a charge move. Trixxy doesn't commit to the Scald. He goes for the Mud Bomb. Mud Bomb doesn't KO, but Poliwhirl far too thick. Mud shots down. Another impressive victory. Moving on to the next one, we see another Scrafty in the lead. This time Trixxy does stay in, and the opponent makes the catch. They catch a neutral Thunder Punch on Bronzong. It's really nice to draw out the confusing user here, as we are ABA weak. The opponent now commits a shield on the Mud Bomb, but Poliwhirl super spammy. Trixxy can easily shield this up. We shield up the move and we are now over farming heavily. We're almost at the back-to-back mud bomb. So if the opponent does commit a shield here fighting for switch, they're going to be very sad because Poliwhirl is at mud bomb number 3, and that is going to be more than enough to take care of Bronzon. Poliwhirl absolutely going off with gained shield advantage in the mid game. The opponent goes for the power up punch and now make a pivot into Wallface, and holy smokes, you already know this mud bomb is going to be super effective, and they have got a switch lock Bastard on our Poliwrath. Trixxy going straight for the dynamic punch. Night sleep tight Wallface. When the Scrafty does return, they can do absolutely nothing. Trixxy not even bothering to shield this up. Power up punch does absolutely nothing. We make the dynamic punch and Poliwrath sweeps another endgame. GG's and thanks for playing. Moving on to the next battle, we pick up a dreadful lead. You know the Stunfisk in the lead is capable of beating the entirety of our team. We say switch into Poliwrath and the opponent answers with Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff might be a charmer, but they are part normal. Dynamic punch hits for big damage. The opponent actually lets it go. Poliwrath beats Wiggly in the 0 shield. You love to see it. Back out comes the pancake. We are pretty low on HP, but Trixxy chooses to commit a shield, investing in his Poliwrath, and he returns fire with the dynamic punch. It looks like he does want to get shields down. The opponent does oblige. Putting up a shield, we can now come in to Poliwrath. We do hit for super effective with the mud shots, but discharge would hit us for super effective. The opponent still has a shield remaining. We do not. We are going to get hit with a discharge, and again Poliwhirl shows huge bulk. We are now going for the mud bomb. Mud bomb is super effective. The opponent lets it go. We now bring in Mach, and Mach looks like it is being used as a third shield. Mud bomb hits for super effective. Can we get the resisted poison jab farm down? Yes, we can. It looks like the opponent's final Pokemon is a Dark type, and Trixxy goes for the resisted Dark Pulse. A bit of a misplay there. Obviously, you do want to go for the neutral Thunder Punches. The opponent is going to fire off some energy. Foul play takes us out. Poliwhirl has a huge uphill struggle. We are going for the Mud Bomb bait, but the opponent is already at one more charge move, and foul play takes us out. Moving on to the next one. We see the pancake in the lead. We pivot into Poliwrath, and again we are countered with a charmer, so we are looking for redemption, but unlike Wigglytuff, Sylveon is not part normal, so we can only go for ice punches. However, this time we have gained shield advantage. In the mid game we come in to Mach. Sylveon has access to Side Shot, but Mach commits to the poison jab farm down. Back out comes the pancake. We are firing off the neutral Dark Pulse, and it does do big damage to the pancake, and the pancake is super bulky. Trixxy has got shield advantage, so we shield up the mud bomb, pivot into Poliwhirl to catch the second mud bomb. Great play there from Trixxy. What is the opponent's final Pokemon? And they have a bubble jelly. This is obviously a lot better than Hex, as the bubbles are resisted. However, we can only go for neutral mud bombs. We fire off the first. The opponent is at a charge move. Trixxy calls the bubble beam bait, and the opponent fires an ice beam. What the heck is going on? I don't know, but Trixxy fires off one more mud bomb. It gets the Jellicent super low. We actually get to another mud bomb on a CMP tie. Surely we aren't going to win this game. The opponent commits their final shield. Trixxy can easily let this go. The win con is going to be to commit to the poison jab farm down. The opponent obviously realises the renew, firing off ice beams. They look to bring back out the pancake. The pancake gets taken out with a Dark Pulse, and Mach is going to be able to outpace to the Thunder Punch, and we win a very strange battle, but very well played nonetheless. So those were the battles. Yeah, that was a pretty impressive showcase on Trixxy's part. Some of his opponents were going for some very questionable plays, but it is the early weeks of the season, so not everyone is as advanced in GBL. We're all learning every day, and even some of the best players in the world do make misplays. So I'd like to say a huge thank you to Ben for all his support that he gives me and the hype battle submission. It was great to see Legacy Poliwhirl, despite it being ranked 347 on pvpoke, we can see it is actually pretty good in the current meta. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing, and I will see you all in the next one.